The winter encounter, the snow fell in thick, gentle flakes across the city streets, painting everything in a soft white blanket. Streetlights cast warm circles of amber light through the winter evening, creating a dreamlike atmosphere that made the bustling downtown feel quieter, more intimate. Marcus adjusted his wool scarf as he walked toward the bus stop, his breath forming small clouds in the frigid air. He had just finished his shift at the community center where he worked as a youth counselor. The pay wasn't much, but he loved helping kids navigate their troubles. Tonight he was especially tired after mediating a difficult conflict between two teenagers. As he approached the bus stop, Marcus noticed a woman sitting alone on the metal bench. She was hunched forward, her arms wrapped tightly around herself, shivering despite her attempts to stay warm. Her long blonde hair fell like a curtain around her face, and she wore what looked like expensive business attire, a tailored dress and heels that seemed completely inappropriate for the harsh weather. Marcus paused, studying the scene. The woman's shoulders trembled with each gust of wind, and her bare legs looked painfully exposed to the elements. She kept checking her phone, then looking up the street with an expression of growing desperation. Without hesitation, Marcus approached the bench. "Excuse me," he said gently, his voice cutting through the sound of falling snow. "Are you okay?" The woman looked up, startled. Her eyes were a striking blue, rimmed with exhaustion and what might have been tears. She had the kind of face that belonged on magazine covers, but right now, she just looked vulnerable and cold. "I'm fine," she said quickly, though her chattering teeth betrayed her words. "Just waiting for the bus." Marcus frowned, glancing at the bus schedule posted nearby. "The last bus on this route left 20 minutes ago. There won't be another one until morning." The woman's face crumpled slightly. "What? No, that can't be right. I checked the schedule. She fumbled with her phone again, her fingers stiff from the cold. "Here," Marcus said, already shrugging out of his thick winter jacket. "You're going to freeze out here." "Oh no, I couldn't," she began to protest, but Marcus was already draping the jacket around her shoulders. "Please," he said firmly, "but kindly, I've got a sweater on underneath. You need this more than I do." The warmth of the jacket seemed to envelop her immediately. She pulled it closer, inhaling the scent of wool and something faintly masculine, perhaps cologne, or just the natural warmth of another person. For a moment she looked like she might cry. "Thank you," she whispered. "I'm Emma." "Marcus," he replied, settling onto the bench beside her, careful to maintain a respectful distance. "What happened? How did you end up stranded out here?" Emma hesitated, then seemed to decide that honesty was the least she could offer this stranger who had shown her such kindness. "I was at a business dinner. It ran late, and my driver, well, there was a miscommunication. He left without me. I tried calling for a ride, but with the weather, nothing's available for hours." Marcus nodded sympathetically. "Those corporate dinners can be brutal. I've heard they go on forever." Something flickered in Emma's eye, surprise, perhaps, or amusement. "You could say that. A lot of talk about numbers and projections and double quotes." She trailed off, studying his face. "What do you do?" "I work at the community center downtown. Help kids mostly. Tonight I was dealing with some teenagers who got into a fight over a girl." Marcus smiled ruefully. "Typical stuff. But it matters to them. You know, that sounds important," Emma said, and there was something genuine in her voice that made Marcus look at her more closely. "It is to me," he said simply. "What about you?" "Let me guess, lawyer, investment banker." Emma's laugh was soft but held a note of irony. "Something like that." They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching. The snow continued to fall. The city seemed to have gone quiet around them, as if the weather had wrapped the world in cotton. Marcus found himself stealing glances at Emma, noting how the streetlight caught the golden threads in her hair, how she seemed to relax slightly as the warmth from his jacket settled into her bones. "You know," Marcus said eventually, "there's a 24-hour diner about 3 blocks from here. It's not fancy, but it's warm, and they make decent coffee. You could wait there until morning, or until a ride becomes available." Emma turned to look at him, her expression thoughtful. "You'd walk a stranger to a diner in the middle of a snowstorm." "It's not a storm," Marcus said with a gentle smile. "And you're not really a stranger anymore. You're Emma who got stuck in bad weather after a business dinner. That's enough for me." Something shifted in Emma's expression, a walls coming down perhaps, or a decision being made. "Marcus, I need to tell you something. I'm not just someone who works in business. She paused, then seemed to gather her courage. "I'm the CEO of Hartwell Industries." Marcus blinked, processing this information. Hartwell Industries was one of the largest companies in the city, known for its office towers and significant influence on the local economy. "Oh," he said finally. That's a big job." "You're not impressed," Emma observed, and there was something like relief in her voice. "Should I be?" Marcus asked honestly. "I mean, it's impressive, sure, but you're still Emma who was cold and needed help. That doesn't change because you run a company." Emma stared at him for a long moment, then began to laugh, a real laugh this time, warm and genuine. "Do you have any idea how refreshing that is? Do you know how long it's been since someone treated me like a regular person?" "Probably too long," Marcus said quietly. They walked to the diner together, Marcus's jacket still wrapped around Emma's shoulders. The snow crunched beneath their feet, and their breath mingled in the cold air. The diner, when they reached it, was warm and bright, filled with the smell of coffee and comfort food. As they settled into a booth, Emma wrapped her hands around a steaming mug of coffee and looked across the table at Marcus. "I want to do something for you, for the community center. We have a foundation that supports youth programs." "Emma," Marcus interrupted gently, "you don't owe me anything. I gave you a jacket. That's what people do. But I want to," she said, her eyes bright with something that might have been hope. "And maybe we could have coffee again sometime when it's not snowing and I'm not stranded." Marcus smiled, the warmth of it reaching his eyes. "I'd like that, though I should warn you I'm probably